Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And I was cleaning up around the homestead and I pulled out my old Craftsman mower. Love that thing. I've had it for like 25 years. I've since moved to an electric mower, but I thought I'd sell the Craftsman finally, let go of it. But I started wondering, how much Craftsman stuff do I have? Because I'm a little concerned at the trajectory of Craftsman as a tool company right now. And as I looked around, I found Craftsman tools all over the place. I had Craftsman gardening tools, shovels, hose, rakes. I have Craftsman air compressor, Craftsman drill press, obviously the Craftsman lawnmower. Used to have a Craftsman weed eater. I have Craftsman tools in car kits, specialty tools, tools just on benches, tools and toolboxes, even Craftsman toolboxes, Craftsman tool storage, love this guy. I have Craftsman apparel, Craftsman tool belt, anyway, and a lot of the Craftsman stuff I've had for a long time. Craftsman started out in 1927, I found on my Craftsman pencil. But anyway, and I was watching Den of Tools History of Craftsman, probably get you some insights into where it's going. He's got a lot of opinions. He actually just moved to Montana not too long ago. I consider him a neighbor. He's only 300 miles away, but we're both on the western side of the state. So I've emailed him. I hope to meet him in person sometime. But anyway, I have Craftsman sandpaper, Craftsman levels. It just shocked me. A lot of Craftsman saws. I have large saws, coping saws, hack saws, saw blades, drill bits. Anyway, I started thinking about the Craftsman brand and why I felt some affinity for it. I mean, I've had a lot of the Craftsman tools. I loved them when I got them, many years ago. Big, bold, USA right there. They were not at all shy about putting it on things like they seem to be now. We used to walk into the Sears store, peruse the aisles. You'd need a screwdriver and you'd come out with a great big package of 20 or 30 screwdrivers. Half of them you didn't need, like the number 4 Phillips. Anyway, I started going through looking at the different tools, thinking about it. Like, this is one of the first hammers I ever bought. I was in high school and, wear safety goggles. Proudly made in, it's USA anyway, somewhere. But this was an old one. Here's one, ball peen, made in USA. I have old ratchets and new ratchets. We had the classic kind of made in USA, great big one. That was, probably a lot of us, that was our first ratchet. The new ones just don't seem to do it for me. I don't know. I'm wondering, is that C? Is that for China or something? I don't know where they're made, not here. In fact, the handles are really heavy. Kind of surprises me how much metal is actually in one of these. I remember the first Craftsman professional tools I got. I mean, that was like a big step up. I got these a long time ago. Loved them. Absolutely loved them. Here's another. Love this. It shows up in videos. I still like it. Craftsman professional hacksaw. But anyway, I ended up thinking about the Craftsman trajectory. And what that means is Craftsman's reinventing itself. Basically, there was a paradigm shift in tools where a lot of the companies sort of got reset back to zero. It means that the name may not have as much power anymore because there's so many competing brands all of a sudden. And the price point, they're similar. I mean, you've got house brands like Husky and Cobalt. You've got Capri. You've got Tecton. Of course, you've got the upper end, like tool truck brands. You've got the marketing, which is completely different. I mean, Tecton is just going crazy with their ways of marketing. Craftsman is showing up in big box stores. They're showing up in all kinds of unusual places. I haven't seen them in gas stations yet, but I suppose that's probably on its way. And they also seem to be going after a segment of the market that's kind of interesting because I don't think they actually have as many people still around, still alive, walking and breathing that really have that initial affinity that they started with Craftsman. And Craftsman was the tool until you became a professional and moved on to some of the others. Snap-on or Mac or Cornwell or something. But now, since the market's pretty much flooded with different tool brands and a lot of it's made in China, what is really behind the Craftsman name anymore? Is there anything? So why would I want to buy Craftsman? It's being promoted in big box stores and small box like Ace Hardware. But when I see that, I'm not attracted to it anymore. I still might see something like this at a pawn shop and think, wow, I remember this stuff's good. The newer stuff, even the USA made, some of it just doesn't quite have that same feel. Old Craftsman, professional, needle nose. I just find that Craftsman isn't giving me that same excitement of tools that it used to. It used to have that good feel, and now it seems to be more of a giant marketing campaign. Even the corny tools that they made, and I did a video on that, kind of their gift tools. But I'm wondering what you think. Is Craftsman on its way out? Is it going to be able to compete, even if they build that Texas factory and start making tools in America again? What's its future? Because right now, I see it trying really hard. I'm thinking it's getting too big because it's got to be really pushing the limits of its value market-wise, given all of the competition. And then once you get that big, can you move fast? Can you bring out new tools or modify designs that aren't quite as good as they could be? So I'm just curious because when I go into some of the stores and I see Craftsman, just walls of it, I just wonder, is that really what's selling? Is that really what people want? Are they going in as if, this was the kind of the Hall of Fame of tools? Kind of like that feeling you get on a Snap-on truck sometimes. It's like, wow, you're just hoping everything's good. It's all expensive. But when I see Craftsman, it's like a hit and miss, and then their electronic tools. I mean, that was my first electric tools, too. I had Craftsman drills and circular saw and kind of a hacksaw or reciprocating saw, in an old battery platform. But I remember that was like where you started. Sort of learned to use the tools, and then you got into the good stuff. But for Craftsman, I just worry about it now, and I'm curious what you think. Is it also ran today, or is it reframing, reimagining itself, and will become or continue maybe being that tool powerhouse that it used to be? And with that, Doc out.